Hi Flosstube friends, how are you feeling? I didn't really want to record this video, and I've done the intro a few times now. I've just been rambling and telling stories that you don't need to know, and so I keep stopping. I'm like, they don't need to know this, and I'm like 9 minutes in, and it's like, this is not pertinent to my 2026 plans, which is really supposed to be the focus of this video. My name is Audrey Marine. Did I already say that? I'm kind of in a mood today. Okay. And the camera's wiggling. Every time I touch my desk, the camera wiggles because it's attached to a gooseneck, which is attached to the desk. So I have to not touch it. Speaking of geese, there are geese outside. Yeah, so many Canada geese around here. There's one Canada goose who hangs around here. It has a gimpy wing, so it can't fly. I shouldn't laugh. It can run really fast, but it can't fly. It can't fly. And there's a muscovy duck who hangs out here. He kind of arrived in the fall, and then the pond froze over, and so it was like, oh, 11 left. That's what I named him. But now he's back. The pond thawed. And I bet gimpy goose is around here too. There's also a one-legged duck. It's a female, one-legged duck, and we didn't really have a name for her, but then we had a friend stay over, and he's like, why don't you just call her Peg? Which I thought was so funny. How did we not come up with that? This is what's going on in my life. How are you? Okay, this is supposed to be a 2026 plans video. Yeah. In 2025, I finished 25 Hands Across the Sea samplers pieces, and if you would like to see all of those, I will link to a video below in which I show all of them. It is my 2025 hats parade. And I want to say thank you to everybody who sent me a congratulatory message or text or called or whatever it was after Nicola Parkman of Hands Across the Sea Samplers announced that I was one of the co-winners. There was another woman, Stephanie M., who also stitched 25 hats pieces, and I was like, oh. But at least we were tied. I would have been so irritated if I had finished 25 and somebody else had finished 26. So thank you to everyone who sent me a congratulatory message. It was much appreciated. And what was I going to say? Yep, thank you for your messages, and it was great, and no idea. I did take notes. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. Okay, so because in 2025, everything basically, especially once I got like to the middle part of the year, I was like, oh my gosh, I really think I can finish more hats pieces than anybody else. That became my focus. Like as soon as I finished a Hands Across the Sea samplers piece, I was like, what's the next one I can finish? What's a small one I can start and finish? And then what do I have that's close to a finish, that's already in progress? Let's focus on that. Because I was so solely focused on completing as many hats pieces as possible in 2025, 2026 is going to be like whatever I want to do. And there's not really going to be a lot of structure here. So this year might be a little chaotic. I am attending some events, and I'm going to go through month by month and let you know what I'm attending, so that if you're attending as well and you want to come say hi, you can. If you want to avoid me, you can do that too. So let's start with January. I finished my blessing sampler already, so I am going to show that. This is the National Female Model School Sampler by Cross Stitch Antiques. I got to see the Antique and Kathleen Littleton's reproduction when I was at the Swindon event in October of 2025. This sampler has not yet been released. I believe that Kathleen has plans to release it this year, but I don't actually know. So if you really want this, ask your friends, see if anybody you know has attended that retreat. Maybe you can borrow it from them. My copy has already been claimed. Somebody reached out and said, I really want it. And I said, okay, when I'm done, you can have it. So I stitched mine on 46 count Sepia by Cedar River Linen. And I used all the called for 100.3 silks. Those are the spooled silks. And then for the over one lowercase alphabet there in the middle, I used Surfine. And if you have any questions about any products, tools, supplies, whatever it may be that I mention here in the video, please check the drop-down box below, because I do spend quite a bit of time putting information in there so that you have it. And if what you're looking for is not in there, Google is great, but you can also ask me. So for the rest of January, it's kind of like whatever I want to do. I would like to start the Maria Wales Newson sampler, the large one. There is a stitch along going in the Friends of Hands Across the Sea Samplers Facebook group. If you would like to follow people's progress, or if you would like to actively participate in that stitch along, you can join that Facebook group. I would recommend joining the Facebook group. Even if you do nothing else on Facebook, I would recommend joining the Friends of Hands Across the Sea Samplers Facebook group, simply because every once in a while, Nicola provides a freebie. So if nothing else, you get a few free charts throughout the year. And I know that there's one coming soonish, she's mentioned. Then next week, I leave for the attic. So I am going to Sampler Symposium. Sampler Symposium is a yearly event held in January in the Mesa, Arizona area. It is hosted by Attic Needlework, but the event is held at a local hotel there. But of course, you can do some shopping. So I am heading in a couple days before the event actually starts, and I'm meeting my friend Georgia at the airport. And my understanding is that we're gonna go from the airport to the shop and then hopefully get some lunch. But we're gonna do that because the later that it gets into the week, closer to the event, more people start coming into town and it just gets harder to shop. So if you can get in 2 or 3 days early, honestly, and do your shopping then, you don't have to like fight for room in the store. And then after that, actually on January 22nd, here in the Indianapolis area, I have signed up for a needlepoint class, if you can believe that. The Proper Stitch opened in Carmelle in December, I believe it was. And somehow their page popped up on Instagram for me and I started following them. I tried to get into one of their weekend beginner needlepoint classes. You know, I tried to get into a few of them and it just was not happening. But they recently offered some Wednesday, Thursday classes. And I think I was able to get into those simply because people are at work, right? So I signed up for a class on Thursday morning, the 22nd, and it is actually a ribbon embroidery needlepoint class. So I've done a little bit of ribbon embroidery using kits from Mary Jo Heine. I used one of the kits to make a needle book, and then this little heart, you guys might remember, I made this last year from one of her kits. This is one of 3 hearts that is included in the kit. I think you can buy the hearts individually, I'm not sure. But I got a set of 3 hearts, and this is the one that I have stitched so far. And all these little roses on it are done with ribbon embroidery. And it wasn't particularly difficult to make this, but it was time consuming. And then this is another piece that I have made from a Mary Jo Heine kit. This is one of her velvet strawberries. And all of this I did by hand. I really like those. So I'm excited about the needlepoint class. And then also the day after I signed up for that needlepoint class, I actually got a message from Mary Jo Heine. She said that she and her daughter Claire, they run the business together. She said that they had developed a couple new kits, and would I like one? Yes, absolutely. So I'm expecting a new kit from her, and it is a ribbon embroidery piece. So I'm gonna work that one up and I'll get to show you that. I will talk to you about the needlepoint class that I'm doing here locally, and then also Sampler Symposium. So I'm gonna go over all of this stuff in my next Flosstube video. So you can expect that probably January 23rd or 24th, kind of depends on when I get myself together. But all right, so that is January. That's what you can expect from me from January. And also, actually, I should say, between the regular Flosstube episodes, you can expect weekly Flosstube extras. It'll be something like this, where I talk about a specific topic that I don't really need to go over in a regular Flosstube episode, or it will be a stitch with me video where you just see my stitching and I'm just stitching and chatting, or it will be focusing on a particular type of stitch, or it might be like a craft room tour, something like that. So on any week that I don't post a regular Flosstube episode, you should be able to expect a Flosstube extra from me the Saturday morning. That's my plan going forward. I've been doing that since September of last year, and it's been going pretty well. You know, I know that a lot more people watch my Flosstube episodes than those who watch my Flosstube extras. That's fine. Not everybody needs to watch the Flosstube extras, but it does seem like the people who do watch the Flosstube extras really like them and enjoy them. So I will continue to make those as long as I can, as long as I have the time and I feel like I have something worth showing, talking about, whatever it may be. All right, in February, I plan on renewing my stitch along with Stitch and Gem. In February of 2025, on Valentine's Day, actually, we started and Tong Uffindell together. That is a very large chart from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. We started it on Valentine's Day, broke it up into 12 sections with the idea that we would finish it on Valentine's Day of 2026. Spoiler, not gonna happen. We did continue pretty regularly for a few months and it was going really well, and it is fun to stitch. It is a fun piece to work on. But you get sidetracked by other things and you get excited about other things and you will start like a ton of different charts. So Anne Tong kind of got put aside in favor of other projects, but we decided that why not on this next Valentine's Day just start it up again. So that's the plan there. And then in March, nothing going on. April, Jem and I have plans to go to Country Sampler. I don't even remember the weekend because we had decided we were going to go like the weekend of the 18th or something. And then I got a call from Country Sampler saying that that weekend isn't available because they're teaching a class or have something going on. Anyway, so we picked a different weekend. I need to call and figure out what weekend it is that we actually have booked and check in again with Jem. So that is April. And then in May, here in Indianapolis, it is a very busy time for Ryan, my husband. He works for IndyCar Radio as well as a bunch of other racing series. But in the month of May, he is pretty well focused on IndyCar and all the stuff that leads up to the Indy 500, which is always held Memorial Day weekend. So I hope I have a couple stitchy IndyCar friends, as funny as that is to say, coming into town sometime in the month of May so we can just hang out, go to the racetrack. They can get their little tour from Ryan, and then we can maybe go to Always in Stitches or Persnickety or whatever it may be, or just hang out, whatever. So I am looking forward to that. So girls, you better come. And then June will be busy for me. I am going to StitchCon Weekend A, which is June 11th through the 14th. And I know that there are some other Flosstubers who are going as well. So I'm looking forward to meeting a couple people in person. Whether you know it or not, I'm going to come introduce myself. But I do know that my friend Jem and my friend Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe, they are going to Weekend A as well. So Stephanie, I have never actually met in person. I'll finally get to meet her in person. That'll be great. And then Jem, I have met in person, and obviously we're going to see each other at Sampler Symposium, and then we've got our trip to Country Sampler, and yada yada. And then also at StitchCon, Stephanie and I are planning on starting a Hawk Run Hollow together. I believe that she has one started, is not happy with it, and is going to restart it. I don't have anything ready to start a Hawk Run Hollow, so when we were kind of talking about this, I said, I am not emotionally ready to start a Hawk Run Hollow right now, so you need to give me some time. And she was like, well, what about StitchCon? I said StitchCon would be great because that's half a year away. So it gives me time to get my pattern, get all the supplies, and pick out a fabric, because the one that I am going to start is Houses of Hawk Run Hollow. Okay, Houses and Village of Hawk Run Hollow. They kind of look the same, and in my head, it kind of sounds the same. Houses. I do this every time. But I'm pretty sure it's Houses that I'm going to be starting. Oh, and then I made a note here. Stephanie of Cross Stitch the Globe, she has a YouTube channel, talks about so many different things. She has regular Flosstube episodes, but then she has little niche videos as well about, you know, things that are tangentially related to cross stitch. But she also has a D-Stash store on Etsy where she sells new and also vintage cross stitch patterns. So a couple things that I got from her recently were these pieces from 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers. So I was very happy to get these new charts. They're in perfect condition and they all call for Roxy Floss. So I'm very excited about that. I have a lot of the colors already, and then when I don't need, I can get. And then later in June 19th and 20th, I will be attending the Threadworks Fair, which is going to be held in New Harmony, Indiana. It's about 3 hours south of me. If you are interested in submitting pieces to be judged or to be put on display, if nothing else, please reach out to Cranberry Bog Cottage. They are in Terre Haute, Indiana, and they are the hosts. I think they're the hosts and the shop that's putting all of this on and together. There are classes that are going on in the New Harmony little village area throughout the weekend. I'm not attending any classes. I just wanted to go submit some pieces, look at what else is on display, and just kind of enjoy the weekend. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Then in July, I think I'm going to focus on a lot of Christmas pieces and, you know, do Christmas in July. It was not 2025, I think it was 2024 that I did Christmas in July. And I managed to finish, I believe, 5 small pieces that then I sent to Faye Riggsbee, who finished them into little pillows. And I just love how those turned out. And it was so nice getting them all done in July, sending them to her well before the holiday season, knowing that I would get them back and be able to display them for that holiday season. It was great. I've been thinking that I want more seasonal decor. I want more Christmas decor. So in July, whether I choose to do a larger Christmas piece and focus on that or some more smalls, whatever it may be, I just want to, you know, really make an effort to stitch some Christmas pieces. Also throughout the year, I would like to stitch some Christmas ornaments. I didn't add any new Christmas ornaments to our tree last year, and it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if every year I added at least a few new ornaments to the Christmas tree. I did complete one new Mill Hill ornament last year. I think I did that in November, but I didn't fully finish it, and I didn't get it ready to go on the tree. So it's in its little package. It's waiting to be fully finished, and that will be added to the tree in 2026. But I do want to make more of an effort to finish a bunch, start and finish a bunch of Christmas ornaments. I have a lot of Mill Hill kits, and then I also have the Birds of a Feather angel ornament chart. I have that, and those would stitch up so quickly. The finishing would take a little bit more time than the finishing does for the Mill Hill ornaments that are all on perforated paper, but I think the end product will be really good. So Christmas in July, so that if I haven't stitched any Christmas up to that point, at least I'm taking the month of July to focus on seasonal decor. Then in August, a lot of nothing going on, just stitch whatever I want to stitch. July and August are really our busiest times. Ryan is traveling a bunch for work, and then the kids are out of school, and it's just like doing whatever they want to do, going to Grandma and Papa's to use the pool, or going maybe on a trip with Dad, whatever it may be. So it's very busy. Whatever I can squeeze in is great. September, I am attending the Imagination and Emotion, the Needle Speaks event at Hobby House Needleworks. This is a repeat of an event that they had last fall, so fall of 2025. And it's an event that is hosted by Hobby House, but the faculty are Nicola Parkman of Hands Across the Sea Samplers, Ray Niles of Red Barn Samplers, and Kathleen Littleton of Cross Stitch Antiques. I believe that's everybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I managed to get a spot in that event, and I'm very excited. Unfortunately, it is on Ryan's birthday weekend, but he doesn't seem to care. So, and then in October, I'm going to Stitch North. I was looking at going to Stitch North in April, and I was thinking about this for the last couple months. I was like, oh, I really, really want to go to Stitch North in April. And I have a friend who's going to one of those weekends, but I realized that April just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't going to work for me this year. So then I saw, I check the Evertote website every once in a while just to look at the stuff they've got because it's all so pretty. And I just happened to go into events and I saw that they had posted a new event, another Stitch North for October 2026. And I was reading about it. Teresa Vanette of Shakespeare's Peddler is going to be the guest, right up my alley. And then I saw Caroline and Carrie posted a video announcing that this was now available. Signups are open. And I thought, what the hell? I can do October. So October of this year, I will be going to Canada to attend my very first Stitch North. And I'm very excited. And kind of going back to the Christmas thing, when I go to Stitch North, this is my idea right now. My idea is to take the 4 Birds of a Feather stocking charts that I have, that I purchased from Olivia B at Hillside Rookery. They are like full-size stocking pieces, and I have the perfect fabric for them, but I haven't kitted them up. And originally I was going to kit them up with the called for, but then I just didn't. And now I'm wholly obsessed with Roxy Floss. And so I thought, well, what if I take those charts to Stitch North and I can choose my colors there and make sure that everything is harmonious and I like the color palette, and if I want to change anything, because I could just send the floss list to Hannah and say, please do a conversion for me. But I like the idea of that being the thing that I convert there, and it will just cost what it costs. I know it's going to take a lot of floss because it's 4 stockings, and you think, why are you doing all that at once? I want to do it all at once so that I know everything goes together. That's what I want to do. And I think I could, as I say, I could send an email to Hannah and say, convert this now, send it to me now so I can start now. But these stockings that I want to make, they're not really to be used by my family members, by me and Ryan and the boys. If, when they're all done, they decide that they would rather use those than the ones that we have been using since they were born, that's fine. But I really just want to make these because they're so stinking cute. And I think they will be really fun to stitch because I've got to stitch them on 40 count, 1 strand over 2. It'll be easy. There are tons of fun colors that are involved. I think it's just going to be a really fun project. And if it takes me 4 or 5 years to make these 4 stockings, so be it, whatever it may be. But I want to stitch them all together. And then when all 4 of them are done, send them off to a finisher. So in like 5 years, Faye, you'll see them. But that is my plan for Stitch North. That plan might go out the window and I might get there and be like, oh no, I want to buy this stuff instead. But I think that's a good thing to aim for. I think that makes sense. And, to have a clear objective when you're going shopping so you're not just completely overwhelmed by everything. Okay. And then in October, I will have another birthday start. I had a birthday start last year and I've gotten like 10 stitches into it, so I need to pull that back out. And then no plans for November. And then December, I don't have any plans to attend any retreats, but I would really like to do Flossmas Vlogmas. I thought about it for 2025, and I thought, no, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm going to be out of town too much. No, I was out of town for 1 weekend. I could have pre-recorded some stuff, and then I wasn't out of town again until after Christmas. So it's fine that I didn't do it. It's fine because now I have 11 months to prepare for this. And I've got a couple ideas. I would like to purchase 1 Advent project for myself. But then I was thinking about, I would really love to have a Stitchy Advent box. But who better to put a Stitchy Advent box together for me than me? Well, I don't want to do that because I will remember everything that I bought. So I came up with another idea, but it seemed a little, we'll say greedy. So then I came up with another idea, actually, that I think works better. I'm going to take my boys who are, well, Rupert's about to turn 14, if you can believe that. So Rupert will be 14 in February. Morris will be 12 in May. Yeah, so I'm going to take them at some point this spring or summer and take them to a stitchy shop or two. And I told Rupert, I said, you can pick out 12 things, and Morris, you can pick out 12 things, and that'll be 24 things. And then the 25th thing we'll just kind of have to figure out. Either I'll enlist my mom to get me something, or I will ask Ryan to get me something, although even as I said this out loud, he looked like his head was exploding. But I told the boys, I said, you know what I know, and you know what I use, and you know what I like. And so I think, would you be interested in doing something like this? And they kind of gave me yeah, okay. So that wasn't a no. So I think this is something that would be easy enough for them to put together, and then actually kind of exciting for me to open during the Flossmas Vlogmas season. So if you have any other suggestions on how to put your own advent calendar box together for me or for anybody else, you can leave that idea in the comments if you have it. I'll tell you the other idea that I came up with. I thought, well, I have so many viewers, and I figured there would maybe be like 25 people who would be willing to send me something completely wrapped in opaque wrapping so that I couldn't see it, who would be willing to send me something that I could add to an advent box, and then I could take an estimated cost of however much was sent to me and then make a donation to a charity. I thought about that because I was like, I can't just ask people to send me stuff. But then I thought, well, if I make a donation to a charity, that would assuage my guilt. But then the whole thing still felt icky. So I was like, I'm gonna make Rupert do it. And he was like, yeah, all right. So I actually think having the boys, give me their input, put it together. I can make little stickers. It'll be so cute. I'm actually really excited about this. It's 11 months away. So if you have any other ideas, or if there's anything that you've gotten in an advent calendar that you loved or hated, let me know. Okay. And then also in December, I will have another Christmas Eve start. This is something that I started a few years ago. In 2023, on Christmas Eve, I started Carmelle Azzopardi by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. It is framed and on my wall. And in 2024, I started Mary Hillier, also by Hats. It is not finished. I have like 2 lines done. It's a big old Bristol sampler, and I love it, but I haven't pulled it out. So that's another one of those things. I need to pull out my older projects and just seriously pull them out of the bag and look at them and ask myself, do I want to work on this today, this week, this month, ever? And really figure out how I feel about some of these older pieces. Mary Hillier, I would like to finish. I'd like to have a Bristol on my wall. I like that one. I have another one that was gifted to me from a friend who attended the Hobby House event in fall of 2025. There's a Bristol sampler that the attendees were given, and I really liked it. And then a friend who went, she gave it to me. She was like, I'm never gonna stitch this. And then Christmas Eve of 2025, so just a couple weeks ago, I started Hannah and Ellen Wilkonson. That's not something that was really on my bingo card, but I started reading the story about it, and I'm like sitting here in the Floss Palace crying about this. Like these 2 girls who died 100 years ago. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll start this one. So I did start it. I have a good amount done on that one already. So Christmas Eve 2026, I will have another red sampler start. I don't know what it's going to be, but I have that plan. So as I said, focus throughout the year will basically be to just work toward creating more seasonal decor for myself, for our family, for our home, and then also just to stitch whatever I want, whenever I want. I know I've got a lot of stuff already in the works, But I have so many things kitted up, and if I feel like pulling it out, I'm just gonna pull it out and start it. That's just what's gonna happen. And I know I'm gonna go to the attic next week. I'm gonna buy some fabric. That's what I would like to buy. I'd like to focus on finding some more linen. But we're gonna be given 5 fully kitted pieces. And so if I want, I could start 5. I'm not gonna start 5 things in one weekend. That's not gonna happen. But I could if I wanted to. Oh, and then as I mentioned, I will continue with my regular videos. Basically, a regular Flosstube video a month, maybe slightly more often if it's warranted. And then in between the regular Flosstube videos, you can expect a Flosstube extra from me. Okay, and the last thing I have for you guys today are some recommendations. If you made it this far, thank you. Why is this 30-some minutes? I don't know. But there is a new floss trooper up. Her name is Natalie. Her channel is Sewing Room Secrets, and her first video was great. She showed everything that she finished in 2025, and if you like the stuff that I show, you will like her stuff. And she's got a delightful accent, so that helps. So Natalie of Sewing Room Secrets. I will link all of these below as well. And Sean Periwinkle Stitcher also gave her a shout out. So if you watch Sean, which you should, then you will have heard this name before. And then another recommendation for you is Tyler of Will It Stitch. I gather that his last name is Willits, so he made it Will It Stitch. That's his YouTube channel, that's his handle. And it was maybe a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago or something, YouTube recommended his latest video to me. I watched it. It was fabulous. And then I forgot, of course, to recommend him to you guys. And recently he posted a whip parade, and it's 2 hours, and I've watched it twice. So if you're interested, go check him out. I think he has great taste in samplers and other, like, in fact, he stitches a lot of Brenda Gervais, which we all like as well. But he also just has a really nice voice, so he's nice to listen to. And then Grace Paisley Stitcher. Oh my God, Grace. Okay, so Grace has put out so many wonderful videos over I don't know how many years, but she had this huge hiatus. And, you know, life happens, and Flosstube is not the most important thing, even though sometimes I think it is. And so she put out a video just within the last couple weeks. And it's great because she shows everything that she's finished since her last video. And then she does like a little whip parade as well. So it's like a finished parade and a whip parade. Wow. Anyway, it was so nice to see Grace, so go ahead and check her out. And then Alba Stitcher, Amanda, another one who's just nice to listen to. She's Scottish. She has a great accent. I love the stuff that she shows. She has a cat, if you care about that. She has a cat. But she's fun to watch. And she might not have the most regular schedule, but when she pops up, I get so excited, and it's fun to watch her videos. So those are my recommendations for this time. I'm not great at always recommending things, even though I do watch a lot of Flosstube, but I really should get better because I know that I have benefited from people giving me shout outs, and, you know, brings a lot of new people to my channel. I need to pay it forward and do the same for other channels. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for sticking around for whatever this was, crazy nonsense chaos. But I'm looking forward to seeing what I managed to get up to in 2026. Yeah. Christmas, a couple big samplers. Who knows? Whatever. We'll see. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Again, information on the Flosstube channels that I mentioned, other products and everything like that, anything I mentioned is going to be in that drop-down box. You can find me on Instagram at Stitch Bead. All right, guys, talk to you later. Happy stitching.